The Great Apes, the protectors of humanity, and Godzilla, the guardian of nature. Godzillas and Kongs have an ancient rivalry spanning millions of years. However, there's also another species of titans that arguably hates Godzilla even more, the Mutos. In 2014, we saw Godzilla decimate the pair of Mutos, but together, they were too much for this weakened Godzilla to handle. Millions of years ago, a single Muto dispatched one of Godzilla's ancestors and caused the creation of the pair Godzilla fought in 2014, the Muto Prime. The Prime not only killed Dagon, but gave Godzilla the fight of his life, as he would have been yet another host for Muto eggs if not for Emma and Mark Russell's Orca. Then we have Kong, who tried to fight Godzilla, but basically died and would have if not for the heave being used as a defibrillator. However, Kong wasn't down for the count just yet, fighting this evolved version of Godzilla in the latest installment of the Monsterverse. Unlike in his fight with Godzilla in Hong Kong, where he got smacked like a drunk dad beating his kid, he sent him tumbling into the sand and pummeled him with punches repeatedly. Keep in mind, he was fighting a Godzilla that was 2 times more powerful than Godzilla's standard base power level. Some even say that Kong would have won the fight if he kept swinging, but regardless, both kaiju have fought Godzilla, and why not put them head to head and determine who would win in a fight? Before we dive deeper into the matchup, Kong is going to be fighting with both his axe and beast glove, but will this matter in the end? Let's find out. When it comes to strength, both of these kaiju are very strong. Let's start off with Kong. Kong is described by Eileen Andrews as one of the most powerful titans, and he lives up to that. Kong's power behind his punches can be measured to the power of a 4.2 magnitude earthquake. We can see this displayed when he's punching Godzilla. While drugged up, he staggered Godzilla on the aircraft carrier and charged into him, knocking him into the water. In their Hong Kong battle, he was able to again stagger Godzilla and drop kicked him into the ground. Most impressively, being able to knock evolved Godzilla down to the ground with his beast glove in Godzilla x Kong. Pretty impressive stuff from Kong, and now let's go over the Muto Prime. When fighting Dagon, she easily knocked him over and quite easily defeated him. Let's not forget that the Muto Prime was grappling with Godzilla, and this is no easy task. Keep in mind, this Godzilla isn't nerfed like how he was against the male and female Mutos, as the Prime lacks their EMP. So Godzilla at his full strength, while he's not King of the Monsters or Godzilla vs Kong level, is still pretty powerful. In this time frame, he was in his Garagoji look, and he weighed 90,000 tons at the time. Despite this heavy weight, the Muto Prime's punches, which have the power similar to some of the deadliest earthquakes ever recorded, send Godzilla flying. The designer of Muto Prime, Drew Edward Johnson, also flat out said that she is stronger than Kong. While the designers of Kaiju's statements can't exactly be taken as fact, there's still significance behind this statement. Now, if you don't want to take his statement into consideration, still, the Muto Prime is indeed stronger than Kong by simply looking at how she sent the 90,000 ton Godzilla flying, compared to Kong merely staggering the Big G. Next up, we're going to be looking at their speed and agility. Now, this one is pretty obviously Kong. He's jumping from building to building in Hong Kong, evading Godzilla's atomic breath, and of course being able to keep up with his evolved form, which can run at subsonic speeds, if not even a bit higher. The Muto Prime, being generous, could probably run at only 200 miles per hour. In regards to agility, there's kind of nothing to even cover regarding her, and Kong is without a doubt the faster and more agile opponent. Ranged weaponry. This category obviously goes to the Muto Prime. The Muto Prime Sonic Roar is fine-tuned to be able to shatter Godzilla's dorsal plates. While the Muto Prime Sonic Roar is fine-tuned to do this specifically against the Gojira specimen, it's not like it wouldn't do any damage to Kong, as it would heavily disorient Kong. Kong obviously doesn't really have anything besides maybe throwing dirt at the Prime or using trees, so the Prime easily takes ranged weaponry. Durability is oftentimes a deciding factor in a fight. Again, this category is quite clear. The Muto Prime took a direct blast from Godzilla for a couple of seconds. While she got knocked over, she did get right back up like nothing happened. Comparing that to Kong, who merely got hit for maybe half a second, it sent him tumbling out of the air, causing him to groan out in pain and left a scar on his back. Let's also not forget the Muto Prime was going blow for blow with Godzilla, and comparing that to Kong's encounter, when Godzilla locked in, got completely destroyed, as he was getting tossed like a rag doll, sliced into, and getting a dislocated shoulder. Most importantly, having his ribs crushed by Godzilla, simply applying his weight onto his chest. On the contrary, Muto Prime's exoskeleton is extremely hard, with Monarch describing the Prime as an unstoppable mountain of a tank as it erupts from the earth thanks to its exoskeleton. Muto Prime is without a doubt the far more durable opponent. In this fight, both kaiju are going to be in a lot of up-close combat, so let's go over their physical capabilities. Kong, being paired with his axe and beast glove, is going to have a lot of success up close. His axe, when charged, was able to slice mecha into pieces and dig into Godzilla's hide. However, the dull axe was only able to cause sparks to fly from Mechagodzilla. The Muto Prime is, safe to say, much more durable than the mech, but the axe could definitely stagger her. His Beast Glove is going to be his heavy hitter, being able to knock Godzilla to the ground. However, I don't think this would be the same case for the Muto Prime, as she is quadrupedal, allowing for better stabilization, and is 48,000 tons heavier than Godzilla. When it comes to the Muto Prime, her forelimbs are enormous, being able to send the 90,000 ton Godzilla flying. These forelimbs are so powerful that they are even considered to be stronger than Godzilla's strikes in Aftershock. As seen in one panel, she can even strike the ground, causing a massive shockwave, sending anything affected tumbling on their ass. Both kaiju have shown incredible feats in this department, Kong with his glove and axe, and the Muto Prime with its clubs for arms, so physical capabilities is a tie. Apes in the real world are known for being some of the smartest animals. Kong is no different in the Monsterverse, being able to understand sign language from Gia and Spanish from the Girl in the Skull Island anime. He was also able to put 2 and 2 together to where the axe he obtained can be placed in the charging hole in the throne room to boost its power. When it comes to his battle IQ, simply prevailing on Skull Island is a feat of its own, considering how deadly it is. He's able to use items from his surroundings, whether it's the tree against Ramarak or the sand against Godzilla. Kong is without a doubt one of, if not the smartest titan in the Monsterverse. Now, when it comes to the Muto Prime, we don't really have anything for her. She's most likely on the same level of intelligence as the pair of Mutos who fought Godzilla in 2014, if not a bit smarter, and that's not really saying too much. Technically, she was smart enough to realize her sonic roar is fine-tuned specifically against the Gojira species, but this could also be interpreted as an ability. She knew she needed to stockpile on energy as she was too weak at the time to fight Godzilla. It's quite clear who the smarter titan is, and as a result, Kong takes both intelligence and battle intelligence.
Now into their abilities. Who has the better arsenal? Hello everybody, it's Godzilla Guy, and I'm going to be doing this part of the video. Starting with the Prime. Now the Prime has some very powerful weapons at her disposal. These include her Seismic Concussive Blast. This is just pretty much her strong punches, but she uses them to locate weaker points of the tectonic plates and break through them. Sonic Roar. This is her Godzilla dorsal plate shattering roar, being able to destroy the dorsal plates of the Gojira specimen. This proves how deadly the attack is. However, the writer of Aftershock has gone on record saying that the Muto Prime's roar is weaker than the Skull Island's Kamazots. Now, that doesn't mean Kamazots can break, dorsals. It just means Kamazots is most likely louder and has more force behind it. Of course, Kong fights Kamazots given he's on Skull Island, and he takes one of these roars and does survive. It does take some damage, but overall still survives. Bioterrestrial nature. This is where she's able to create small or massive earthquakes at will. Lava-like blood. As it sounds, her blood is lava-like, meaning if Kong strikes a vein or an artery, he may put himself at risk of getting burnt. And finally, amphibiousness. She can also hold her ground in the water. Now, onto Kong. And, besides the glove and the axe, he's kind of punches. He's very smart, being able to understand sign language and what seems to be Spanish of sort, but just strong. That's about it.
Thanks, Godzilla Guy. After completing the analysis, I came to the conclusion that the Muto Prime would end up taking the win in this scenario more often than not. What we need to factor in is that Kong's axe would be completely ineffective in this fight. The Gojira dorsal plate that he's wielding? Yeah, we all saw what happened to Godzilla's dorsals in Aftershock. They exploded due to the sonic roar. Not only his axe, but also his beast glove would be susceptible to the sonic roar. Thanks to the novelization of Godzilla x Kong, it is confirmed that the beast glove uses remnants of Mechagodzilla and Apex material. We saw that the mech wasn't the most durable opponent, as he was diced up from a severely weaker axe compared to what hit Goji, yet the Muto Prime can make Godzilla bleed, which not even the entirety of Mecha's onslaught could do. While the designer's comments aren't exactly canon, Drew Edward Johnson commented that the Muto Prime sonic roar would be able to quite easily destroy Mecha. This makes actually a lot of sense, considering they're able to destroy Godzilla's dorsal plates, which are still extremely durable and definitely more durable than the mech. Considering the Prime could destroy the mech with the sonic roar, it should without a doubt be able to shatter the beast glove. Kong is now disarmed against a stronger and much more durable opponent. Weighing around 50% more than Kong, he'd have to resort to using his environment. However, he'd soon realize that his attacks wouldn't have too much effect on the Prime. Her exoskeleton would be too resistant, as she was able to survive Godzilla's atomic breath for a couple of seconds and get right back up. Kong would land many more hits than the Prime, but he'd be down for the count from only a few of the Prime's attacks, whether it's her shockwaves from slamming to the ground, or her baseball bats for arms. Not to mention, if she's in a sticky situation, she can always burrow and reposition, or even catch Kong off guard. There we have it. Despite Kong's weapons being in the equation, they would most likely be destroyed before he can use them properly. And even if we factor in the Beast Glove, if it doesn't even get destroyed, it wouldn't be enough to actually defeat the Prime. He has no counter to the sonic roar, and would have no answer to the Prime's brute strength, shockwaves, or even her burrowing. However, Kong still wouldn't be a pushover, but I'd say the Prime would beat Kong with around mid difficulty. Thank you guys so much for stopping by this week, and let me know what you think about the conclusion and reasoning. Do you agree or disagree? Make sure to let me know in the comments down below. With that being said, tune in next week where we see who would win between Jurassic's two deadliest theropods, the Indominus Rex with its twisted persona, massive claws, and durability, or the Giganotosaurus who killed the Rex not once, but twice. See ya!